Hello everybody, welcome to MJ Yaks Movies. Today I'll be yakking the film Dune from 1984, directed by David Lynch, an adaptation of the Frank Herbert novel of the same name. In this movie, interstellar travel is possible, and it's possible only by a thing called spice or melange, which is produced only on the planet of Arrakis, home of the Fremen. Two families vie for control of this planet. One, the Harkonnens, or the Harkonnens, depending on how you want to pronounce it, and also the Atreides, who come in after the Harkonnens have been asked to leave. The Harkonnens are led by Baron Harkonnen, the Atreides by Duke Leto, and the Atreides also have a son, Paul, who may or may not be the chosen one of the Fremen. Over the course of this movie, it turns out Paul is that chosen one. He has magical space powers, and ultimately, the Harkonnens and the Emperor are defeated, and freedom and reign return to Arrakis, and the, control battle for spice ends. What to say about this movie? To begin, this is a movie that I would say mostly is very rewarding if you've watched Denis Villeneuve's Part 1 and Part 2, because it sort of puts all of that together into a neat one movie package. Although it's not evenly distributed, I would say the first hour and a half of this movie is Part 1 of the Denis Villeneuve two parts. The second half hour is the other half, with a little bit of the third novel/movie mixed in. This is David Lynch's really only mainstream, if you can call it that, movie. After this, he really only made David Lynch movies in this. The core of this cast is Kyle MacLachlan as Paul Atreides. We've got Sean Young as perhaps a not ethnically correct Chani, and then a million other actors: Patrick Stewart, Brad Dourif, Jürgen Prochnow, so on and so on and so on. There's a ton of people in this movie. The score is done by Toto, so it literally and metaphorically rocks. There's a great guitar riff in this. If you love a fan of cool 80s space guitar riffs, this one has one of the best I've heard in a long time. And I will say that the CGI, for me, is mostly okay. Understanding that it's from the time that it was from. Most people, when they point to this movie, laugh at there's a sort of body shield armor that in the Denis Villeneuve version is very sleek. In this one, though, it's very chunky, very blocky. But you know what? It was 1984. Best they could do. I'm not going to fault them too heavily for that one. This movie, pretty much after a whole lot of setup, really flies along and then comes to a quick close. One thing that this, I will say, does better than the Denis Villeneuve movies, I think that the interior monologue aspects of the books really come across much, much, much more in this one compared to the Denis Villeneuve ones. And I'll say that even though David Lynch did not like how this turned out and wanted a much bigger, more expansive film, I still think it's really good. So I would say, for me, between yay, nay, and in between, this one is definitely a yay. If you're a Dune fan, an even bigger yay. If you're not a fan of space operas, this one might be a nay for you. And if you've seen the Denis Villeneuve versions and want to revisit the world of Dune but don't have as much time, this is a really good option. So let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like and subscribe. Cheers.